high. We're here to talk football, Austin FC, all right. ZG and E will take you on this ride. Week by week, side by side. It's section 1, 2, 3. We're the rowdiest in town. The Pirates, Damon, Uncle Dave, and Big Fudge all around. We sing our songs, we chant as one. Through thick and thin, the match day's just begun. In the North End, we stand together. Through every game, through any weather. From the first whistle to the final blow. The North End will never let go. Under the lights of Q2, our home, our sacred ground. In green and black, we fight, our voices loud and proud. Trio sees magic, Bacardi speed, Stuva saving grace. With every goal we score, the lights turn verde, it's our place. So knows the mastermind, building out our dream. Dan rules everything around me, as he strengthens our team. Let Rodo cook, he's got the perfect recipe. Austin FC, our heart and soul forever will. In the North End, we stand together. Through every game, through any weather. From the first whistle to the final blow. The North End will never let go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into a special live stream edition of the North End Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Graham, joined, as always, by my good buddy. You know him. He's Ian Michaud. We call him
E.
E. Just a few hours since we last convened for our regularly scheduled episode of the North End Podcast, which was, again, coming off probably the quietest week of the year for the club. And we speculated that we would have a lot more to talk about next week. Couldn't even make it 24 hours. Gyasi Zardes bought out by the club. So we'll talk about the fallout from that and why I'm so excited I put a damn jersey on for this live stream. So how you feeling today? Middle of a Monday. Appreciate you jumping on for the live stream, my friend. How's it going?
Absolutely, man. I'm doing well. Got that text from you while I'm in a work meeting and had to rally the troops here, get ready to jump on this live stream, chat about this, something that we knew or expected to potentially be in the works here, but it's finally here. And I'm definitely excited to talk about G's time and how much I appreciate him. And then also how this club looks moving forward, as well as, who we could be bringing in here, some potential rumors to chat about as well.
Yeah, we also got a rumor this morning, so maybe we can close out the live stream. Going to be fairly abbreviated here today, but wanted to hop on and talk about this because it is such a massive move in the direction that we want to see this roster build go this offseason. And then Ari's, we're on the same page, my friend. He says, keep the live stream to an hour unless I have a work meeting to attend to. E was coming out of one. I was also in one and abruptly ended it. It's like, hey, I got to go do this real quick. We could circle back. So the club putting out the press release just minutes after Tom Bogert tweeted that his sources were telling him that Austin had exercised the 2025 guaranteed buyout on Gyasi Zardes. Of course, G had one more guaranteed season coming up in 2025 with a team option for 2026. We can talk about the salary cap implications, right? The roster slot implications, but I guess first let's talk about the man and the player, right? Because obviously we didn't get prime Gyasi Zardes during his 2-year tenure here in Austin. But as we've said multiple times throughout his 2-year tenure, don't really have a bad thing to say about the guy outside of the fact that, we wish we were getting more for the amount of cap space he was taking up. But it was never about him, at least for me, never perceived that he wasn't working hard, wasn't doing what he was supposed to do when he was out there on the field. And by all accounts, a fantastic human being off of it. So I got nothing bad to say about the guy. My excitement completely stems from what this means going forward and raising the ceiling of our favorite team.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The first thing I want to say is how much I appreciate G and his professionalism and what he brought to the club night in and night out. You know, it was just a poor fit from the beginning. And like you said, we did not get prime Gyasi Zardes, one of the top 10 goal scorers all time in MLS history, which is a great resume coming in. But when you look at the cast that we had around him, what we were asking him to do, and the price tag that he came in at, those are just variables that you can't really control when the club makes a signing that's just not that great. You paying this dude $1 million is just not what you're going to get out of him that is ever going to be the return on investment that you actually need. But I mean, G gave us some really fantastic memories, some highlights, some goals that we were incredibly excited about. And like you said, they're just a wonderful, wonderful human being. I hope he's able to jump on somewhere else. I hope this isn't the end of his career, but there's no other team in the league that was going to be paying this dude $1 million. And we just happened to jump on that. And that was not the right thing. And I can't really hold that against him, as we have said throughout his entire tenure here, that the price tag that he came in at was, great for him and his family and everything along those lines. And I'm never upset about guys getting paid. But when you're looking at a roster that needs to get more talented, you look at a number like that for 10 goals, and it's really not what you need.
Yeah, I mean, finishes his Austin FC tenure 9 goals, 4 assists. I think 9 goals in the league. Right, did have the goal against Pumas in Leagues Cup this past year, so 10 total goals. Good on you there. 4 assists, just over 2,600 minutes in his 61 appearances, 27 league starts. You can see Reglisson here. Good to see Scott as well. Said dude always seemed like a class act, wishing the best. And Ethan, our boy in here, saying it's happening in all caps. Yes, it is. Because I don't think it's not lost on me that this happens on the first day of the offseason, the official offseason, right? I'm pretty certain that this is the first day that any clubs that we can use this buyout. And so for this to happen right away on December 9th, that just again, it's not confirmation, but it's more crumbs. And now we're just getting pieces of cake left behind, that we're chasing Roto's plan here headed into the offseason. If he doesn't have big plans at the 9 now,
yeah,
I would be 100% shocked.
Absolutely. I mean, when you send me that text, this news comes in and everything, I'm trying to think about it. And I really wanted to temper my expectations because this in and itself is a massive move. And I didn't want to parlay it into being okay, well, there's absolutely somebody in the wins here that we're going to be pulling in to fill this 9 position, because in and of itself, this move is so big for this club, getting that massive number off of the books right now. But like you said, if you're looking at this, in between the lines a little bit more, you're expecting a 9 to come in here now. And I think that should be everyone's expectation.
Yeah. Well, now it's great. You're talking about expectations. 512 Trefoil in here saying, Verde smoke for Kevin De Bruyne next. I mean, we take that.
That's some 512 tinfoil right there.
Yeah. All right, Scott, say it. Now can we get a replacement that's younger than 30? Can you get 25, someone long-term? Hey, we just, on episode 190 over the weekend, talked about that Brandon Vasquez to San Jose rumor. And again, tried to make it about us because Tom Bogert left in there. Other MLS teams are interested. But again, that would be, it doesn't have to be Brandon Vasquez, but to bring in domestic DPs or U22s, that would be an extra cookie there in terms of the roster build, not having to use those international slots. Before we get to the roster build, the cap implications and such, I just wanted to point out that Gyasi Zardes, again, did not come anywhere close to what we needed as a fan base, I think, to be satisfied with his stay here. But the goals he did score, man, more often than not, were either game winners or in a Copa Tejas match, or sometimes both. Game winner at Seattle, shorthanded without Driussi last year, I believe, was his first goal for the club. Next game comes on as a sub at home, game-winning header against Toronto. Right, so back-to-back game winners to kick off his scoring in an Austin FC kit. Scored against Houston, opened the scoring at Houston just 2 weeks after that. Of course, we did lose on that. I think it was Ivan Franco that scored the game winner for Houston there. But then in June, those back-to-back games against Houston and Dallas in the 2023 season, which I think we agreed at the time was like one of, if not the high point of the 2023 season that was. Goal against Dallas in the 3-0 victory, goal against Houston in the 3-0 victory, game winner against SKC in July of that season. And then he shut it down for 2023. So like it took him a while to get going in 2024 as well. But right, the brace against NYC in the 2-1 victory. So he carries us offensively in that game. He gave us a breath of hope up in Dallas in July, right? The immediate answer to Dallas's early goal. Great pass from Danny in that one as well. And then, of course, the huge goal right before half, down a man against Pumas in the Leagues Cup. That was all she wrote in terms of goal contributions for Gyasi in a Verde and black kit. But again, like those were some very meaningful goals for a team that, again, overall, we weren't great, but he made his impact here, even if it wasn't what we wanted.
I mean, yeah, he should have been a backup 9 on a good team. You know what I mean? Yeah. Somebody who you can bring in at the end of the game if you're trying to get some crosses into the box, trying to score some goals in the clutch, the crunch time there and everything like that. And two things we've talked about that we felt needed to be priorities for this team. One, obviously increasing the talent floor, but also getting younger. And you're starting to see this old guard of Austin kind of work its way out. Alex Ring now gone. Ethan Finley gone. Obviously, Hedges wasn't here for a long time, an older player, but he's gone as well now. Gyasi into his 30s also departed. So you're looking at hopefully a younger talent infusion that we can get in here to the senior roster spots. And again, this just makes everything so much easier to go get players now because you have so much more of that cap space to work with. And like you pointed out, you know, I wasn't really expecting this to come on the first day where we had like the first move we're making here. But to me, again, I don't want to get my hopes up too high, but this is clearly a signal. Put out the bat signal. It's a 9 up in the sky there that we got to get in here, get us younger, get us more talented, and continue to build up this roster with better players. And again, I'm not going to hold the fact that this team really struggled, for the last 2 seasons solely on some of these older players who were put into positions that they never should have been put into. They were rotational pieces at best. And now we're seeing this being shifted and we're moving away from that and we're getting some talent in here. So I'm incredibly excited. I should have put a jersey on as well.
Yeah. Well, you got the jersey excitement, right? It's just, it's palpable, right? And Vanilla Mexican saying, right? Goal was reached. You open up more space for salary, right? And more players and the like. Tinfoil in here saying, yeah, he had some moments. Like the moments he did have were great. They really brought us up when we were, mostly kind of down in the dumps the last 2 years. And Ethan saying 1 million cap space open, still a DP slot available. Roto is a master chef. And you saying put out the bat signal. I'm going to need somebody in the vast creative space that we have here amongst the fan base to put a chef's hat on like a bat signal picture or something. That can be our Roto signal. David asking, could this be like the Rigoni situation where we have someone in mind and needed cap space? I think, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we know that, right, we have the U22 spots open. We have that 1 DP slot. And then you can use all of the exit, like, because that only hits your cap at a certain amount. Like 1 DP and 3 U22s next year is what, like, it's less than 1.5 million on your cap hit.
Like 1.2, 1.3, right?
Yeah. And if now we're estimating, and this is without any, like, right, when we did our mock off season like 3 or 4 weeks ago, we gave the blanket raises to everybody that was returning. So the number in that exercise was lower, but add 1 million onto that number that we had and 1 roster slot, right? So I would expect to now fill DP slot, at least 1 U22, and then either other U22s coming in or TAM level players.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, we have some flexibility here if we want to go 2-4 with the DPs and the U22s, or we want to go 3-3. At this point, I am expecting a 3-3 build. I think this is a move that signals you're going after somebody expensive. You're going after somebody you're going to have to open up the checkbook for. And to get this done right away, again, it leads me to believe that bigger things are coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, and like maybe you're even because it's just Diego Rubio now at the 9.
Exactly. Yeah. And
So like you're gonna bring in somebody that profiles to start, but maybe you bring in somebody where Diego becomes your third option, and then he's also Seba's backup there in the central midfield, right? Because we've seen him be able to do that as well, kind of playing as that second forward. So again, it just increases your flexibility in multiple different areas.
And that's the type of position that Gyasi should have been in the first place. He should have been like your third guy rotational piece where if you're going to get some, you need some rotation, you need some rest or whatever, you're going to go ahead and get him in. Again, it was just a really poor fit from the beginning.
Yeah. I'm getting some feedback on your microphone there. I don't know if anybody else can hear that, but maybe just an unplug and a replug will fix that. We'll see. I'll mute you real quick. Scott saying, if you do change into a jersey, maybe do that off cam. This ain't OnlyFans. Yeah, we got to turn on the YouTube premium for that or something. We turn tips on here.
Any better there before I take the shirt off?
I don't know. You sound like a robot now. That's really weird. Guillermo in here saying that he can hear that. So maybe if you just take that mic off and we go computer mic, I don't know.
How's that?
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
All right.
Yeah, that'll work. Kiara said, do y'all think you'll be able to win a game of FIFA now?
Interesting.
Oh, that's tough. Lost a 7-game series to Guillermo. So let's continue here, E. 5 senior roster spots. We estimate about $4.5 million in cap space before any raises, right? I don't know, man. I do think, like I mentioned a minute ago, I think potentially 2 more forwards coming in is now very much in the cards. And I also think regardless of that, that also raises the chance that our first round pick, 10 days from now or whatever it is, next Friday, maybe that is going to be a forward.
It very well could be. I'm just looking at I want this third DP spot to be a 9. I don't know what else I would ask for in this position unless you're going against somebody absolutely huge. We have struggled to score. Everyone who follows this team knows that we are lacking in the attacking department, and we need someone who can go ahead and put goals in the back of the net. So if you're going to get younger and get a secondary kind of 9 pulled in here, I'm okay with that. If you're looking at the draft, maybe we understand that that is not a place where you're going to get a very high ceiling out of those guys. But a DP9 coming in here and then fleshing the rest of this roster out that you have available with these slots with U22s is how this team is going to make itself relevant and competitive, because we understand how much impact those U22s have. I don't remember what episode number it was, but we went through and broke down how many, of the higher quality teams were getting important minutes out of U22 players and positions. And like you said, they come in at like 200 something thousand for cap hit. So you can go ahead and flesh out 3 of those for $600K. And like that is, you're getting 3 players for less than the price of 1 Gyasi. I love G, man. I have always really loved G, but this is the right move to make. And it was the one that made the most sense, and we knew it would eventually be coming, but to get it here this first day, love it.
Yeah, and if there isn't a DP9 that comes in and it's in, maybe it's a left wing, or maybe it is a midfielder, right? U22 striker could certainly be the answer for this coming season. I know one name that Phil West was bandying about in at least one place that I saw was Kevin Kelsey, who was with FC Cincinnati this past year on a U22 deal. The striker, he's 20 years old, had 16 starts for them, just over 1,200 minutes. 6 goals in his 23 appearances. So he's out there, right? That'd be an international spot, though, to bring in a guy like Kevin Kelsey. But, that I'm with you. DP9 it has been my goal, what I want this roster to look like, what I want that third DP spot to be filled with. But that could make some sense. And again, we still have all our eggs in the Roto basket. So whatever his, map to the treasure at the end of this 2025 season is, I'm with it, especially now. He just continues to hit us with move after move that is what we have been asking for.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the rest of this build now, and I want to open up another international spot, and for me, that starts with Leia. because, like we talked about, one of the greatest selling points of potentially getting Vasquez is that he's not going to occupy one of those international slots on this roster here. And you're assuming, I would think, that the U22s and the DPs that you're trying to get, well, if Vasquez is a DP potentially coming in, use him as an example that, getting it a non-international player in that slot gives us more flexibility. Then you would assume probably the U22s are going to be international positions, and I'm totally fine with that. I think that is the right way to build up this roster.
Yeah, absolutely. Checking in on the chat here, Regla says DP9 starter, Rubio is the backup, Micah as third string off the bench for 5 to 10 minutes if needed. Look, I wouldn't hate that at all if he's ready, but that to me, I don't think I just haven't seen much that says the club thinks he's ready, right? I believe being on the bench for that decision day match 2 months ago was the first time he's been active for the first team. So what are your thoughts there, E?
Signaled with that last call up for him that they do believe in him, and I think you wanted to get him some sort of experience. Right now, I think he might be a little too young to be thrust into that third string role unless you're really humming with the rest of this roster, and you want to have a guy who comes in here who's a good fit. Obviously, we're going to be changing some tactics, some formational styles that we're going to play with Coach Estevez coming in at this point in time. So, it's going to have to be a good fit. And Mike at the third, I don't think I would hate it, but I would need to see something that signals to me, okay, he's absolutely ready. The physicality of this game when you're making that jump from Next Pro is a large, large step. And obviously he's still developing as a player and growing into his body as, he's what, 17?
He's 8. I think he's like 18 or 19 at this
So
point.
He still is going to have to develop and everything and get ready like that. But I think maybe down the pipeline, maybe you start to see that in maybe the next 2 years.
Yeah, that makes some sense to me. And Tinfoil in here saying, curious if Nico has anyone in mind for the 9. And we know that's one of the benefits of bringing Coach Estevez in here as early as we did, is he and Roto have already started working together on that. And Nico, adapting to what Roto has planned and then being able to give his own input.
That's a big lingering question for me, right? Because when we brought G in, that fit the profile of what Wolf wanted. He wanted a target in the box, and we saw the lack of production and how that really was not working out well for us. So I hope that Nico has some input on this, and I hope that he's right in forecasting how he wants this team to look and how he wants this team to perform and play. And then you can go ahead and limit or kind of hone in on the targets that you're looking at here to bring in at the 9 spot. But we're getting a 9, boys and girls. We're getting a 9. So rejoice in that. And then once that comes across the desk, obviously we will celebrate in full. But we are absolutely pulling a 9 in here at some point.
Yeah, it just has to be. We're not rolling in with Diego Rubio. So let's talk before we shut it down here on Monday afternoon. Let's talk about this rumor that popped up this morning. The source was Sport Blade. I think we have actually referenced them in the past for an Austin FC rumor. I do not remember which. So maybe I can go digging tonight and figure out where this source has talked about Austin FC before. But the rumor here is that Austin FC have shown interest in the 21-year-old Swedish midfielder, doing my best here, Imam Yagne, IMAM, and then his last name, Jagne, and best guess on Malby, AIF from the Swedish league. So reporting that Austin FC have been poking around. Vancouver Whitecaps were also listed in this article as a team that has interest in this 21-year-old midfielder. And I believe his own club interested in re-signing him. So as we typically do when we get these rumors, let's let some of his highlights play in the background as we discuss. Of course, we go to Transfer Market. We go to FB Ref. If you're on FB Ref, the one thing I will note, to find him, he is under Seedy Yagne. So Seedy is his first name there on FB Ref, showing that he's got 7 goal contributions this past season in right around 1,300 minutes, 26 appearances and 13 starts. His club finished 5th in the Swedish first division. So, I mean, man, he profiles as a U22. He's a midfielder. And look, when we did our mock offseason, U22 midfielder was one of the spots that we mocked to Austin. So I guess just on the surface, right? Because we have had next to no time to look into this guy here on Monday morning, but watching some of his highlights now and just like the potential to actually be getting a U22 midfielder, what do you think?
Look, we need bodies there. Like you said, we talked about this before when we were doing our mock offseason, that we needed to get younger in the midfield, and we needed just bodies in general in that midfield with the departures that we had so far this offseason. And, I, again, have not had any time to really look into this dude. But if you see interest from other teams as well, that's usually encouraging. But again, I think the most important thing that we need to look at here is that we are interested in U22 midfielders, which is the profile that we wanted for this team. Again, getting younger, this presents the opportunity where you can have somebody come in, develop them a little bit, sell them on, hopefully, if that's the route, or continue success with them for a long period of time. Hopefully, obviously, best case scenario, with both of those situations there. But we need to get younger in the midfield. We need to get faster in the midfield, and we need general bodies in the midfield. So this is an interesting rumor to me. I still hope, and maybe I'm just being a bit disillusioned, but I hope we're tied to the Brandon Vasquez situation as much as possible. But again, we're getting a 9, and that's going to be coming. I want a younger midfielder as well. And I think this is a guy that we could potentially get in here and be happy with.
Yeah, again, just on all the surface level factors. And of course, you watch a 5-minute highlight tape. It's all of his best plays last year. So it gets you revved up. But this is one that I think, because of the profile and the needs of this team and our wants as fans, like, we have passed over a couple rumors in the last month or so. Just because it didn't make sense with the spots and the cap room that we have open. This one does. And so I think that this Imam Yagne rumor, and I'm sure some more cultured and educated members of the Austin FC fan base will have the correct pronunciation out there if I don't have it already. And I'm interested to see what, others can turn up here as we, get into our week of Austin FC content. I'm glad some of this stuff comes out before Monday night so we don't get Moon Tower cursed here this week. And look, you can't curse the North End because we have the live stream technology. So whenever the breaking news happens, we are here. Anything else for you on this rumor or the Zardes buyout?
I mean, I'm watching these highlights, getting excited. You think about potentially bringing this dude in and being linked to that Hercules guy as well. And that's 2 younger midfielder guys that make us more athletic, make us younger, and fill out this roster the way we want to see it filled out. So again, I think I'll just reiterate, thank you, Gyasi. Love you, G. Wish you continued success if you continue your career anywhere else. But this was the right move to be made, and it had to be done.
Yep, that is the nature of the business, right? And Scott was saying, it feels like Micah can't hold his own physically yet. Got to bulk up and get a little bigger. I don't disagree with that. And new wire in here. Apologize for mispronouncing that. Probably says Yagne looks to have some skills and speed from the highlights reel. Again, you got to be careful. Highlights are always everybody's best plays. But yeah, definitely do not disagree. And look, man, keep your ear down if you're interested in all the other MLS news, because, again, half-day trade window. This is big news just while we were live. San Diego FC acquired Tomas Angel from LAFC. I believe he was one of their U22 guys. And then, Bogert, just 1 minute ago, the Rapids have acquired all of the Philadelphia Union's super draft picks for the next 3 seasons in exchange for $350K in GAM. So if you didn't think that, and there's performance-based add-ons here apparently too, but if you didn't think that the super draft was important before, I mean, the Union just completely throwing it away.
Sounds funny.
What'd you say? Sorry, you muted.
Oh, no worries. I said, sounds like they need some money to go get somebody.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, that is a very interesting deal. 8 picks over 3 years, including 3 first-rounders. So, again, half-day trade window has officially closed, but you can trade picks. That's just for players right now, right? And then free agency opens on Wednesday. We're going to get the list of free agents tomorrow. We get the list of protected players for free agency Thursday, list of protected players for Wednesday night's expansion draft. Again, expansion draft 9:30 p.m. Central because it's out there in San Diego. That's Wednesday night. Waiver process on Thursday. Re-entry stage 1 on Friday. MLS Combine from Wednesday to Saturday. The busy week is here. And look, man, we're off to a roaring start.
This is the kickoff that we needed, brother.
Yeah, you see Reglis in here saying wild trades in MLS. Are you saying, wow, Philly going scorched earth? Yeah, I mean, getting rid of Jim Curtin, now getting rid of 3 years of draft picks. So we'll see. Again, that draft, Friday, December 20th. I believe that is 2 p.m. Central. So, all right, E, anything else for you before we shut it down?
No, sir. All good.
All right, everybody, we appreciate you tuning in on short notice and kicking it with us here on today's emergency live stream. Gyasi Zardes bought out by Austin FC, opening up $1 million in cap space and a senior roster spot. Also got some rumor talk in there as well. So maybe we have another emergency live stream this week. We'll see. We would certainly take it. Just a little bit of that green smoke, Uncle Tony. But if there is no live stream the rest of this week, we'll see everybody back here on Sunday for another edition of the North End podcast. Enjoy your week, everybody. It's all happening. Till then, he's E and I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.
Welcome to the North End where the passion's running high. We're here to talk football, Austin FC, all right. ZG and E will take you on this ride. Week by week, side by side. It's section 1, 2, 3, we're the rowdiest in town. The Pirates game and Uncle Dave and Big Fudge all around. We sing our songs, we chant as one. Through thick and thin, the match day's just begun. In the North End, we stand together. Through every game, through any weather. From the first whistle to the final blow, the North End will never let go. Under the lights of Q2, our home, our sacred ground. In green and black, we fight, our voices loud and proud. Trio sees magic, Bacardi speed, Stuva saving grace. With every goal we score, the lights turn verde, it's our place. So knows the mastermind, building our dream, and rules everything around